In this PowerPoint, I'm going to explain what stress, arousal, and anxiety are. The definition of stress is any influence which disturbs the natural equilibrium of the body. This simply means any situation that alters the way that you normally take a situation. For example, it was goalless and Palace was awarded a penalty, so Jason Puncheon had to score them to put 1-0 up. And there was a lot of stress on him, and it was immense. Because of it, he smacked the ball well wide over the goal, nowhere near the goal. But some stress is good. Eustress, for example, gives us a lot of adrenaline and a good rush of energy. Anxiety is an emotional state of apprehension and uneasiness. There are two types of anxiety. The first one being trait. Trait anxiety is said to be that you are born anxious and are all the same. And state anxiety is when you're anxious but only in certain situations. Like in the 100-meter sprint, when you're lining up you feel very anxious, but it soon goes away when the gun goes off. There are 4 causes of stress and anxiety, which are internal, which is the things that we think about; external, the things in our surroundings. Second to last one is personal factors, for example, money and relationships. And finally, occupational factors, which are problems at work or disagreement with bosses or colleagues. Sporting situations that cause stress and anxiety can be performing badly and embarrassing yourself, or even fans chanting negatively, which can always put your game off. Symptoms of stress and anxiety. In a situation, you either fly or fight. Naturally, humans will run away from situations or they fight them. It happens because the body releases adrenaline to cope with the situation they're in. After all the adrenaline is released and the situation has finished, the parasympathetic nervous system will relax the body after the stress has gone. There are 3 responses: somatic, cognitive, and behavioural. Somatic is the body's response to anxiety and stress. This includes sweating, needing to go to the toilet, and getting butterflies in your stomach. Cognitive is responses including a loss of humour and your thoughts become very, very negative. Finally, behavioural, which causes a lot of movement and not staying still, and you are quiet and withdrawn. Stress affects your performance massively. Stress affects your performance massively, and it causes bad concentration and the sport term of choking. Choking is where the player has under so much pressure that he completely messes up. As you can see here, Torres is on the floor, as he's just missed an open goal that he took around a Man U's keeper. Open goal, and he missed. And now arousal. Drive theory. Oh shit. Oh. And now arousal. Drive theory states that the higher arousal you have, the better performance this is, as you can see here. This only works if you are at a very high standard of skill, which you are performing. However, if you are a novice, it can cause a worse performance.
How do you delete it? How do you call it?
Another theory of this is the inverted U hypothesis. This states that your performance peaks when you've hit a certain arousal, and then after that, as the arousal goes up, the performance goes down.
How do you delete your...
The catastrophe theory is when the performance increases, but it gets too high, and then the catastrophe happens where it decreases heavily as the arousal gets a lot higher.
Too much stress is bad.
For example, when a golfer is playing golf and it's in the final part, he may miss it completely because of so much pressure he's under with such small, simple tasks.
Trait anxiety is in your characteristic.
The catastrophe occurs when both the somatic and cognitive arousal are too high or too low. For example, if it's too low and you're in a match and you're winning so easily, you are confident, so you relax, take it easy, and then normally they score a goal or they get better chances as you don't care as much. Or, e.g., when it gets too high, if the ref calls a bad foul, you may, as you're so involved with it, you may react bad and flip out. The performance is best when cognitive arousal is low, somatically is reasonably in the middle or high, and you have no negative. Hannon's individual zone of optimal functioning. This is when, if you have a low zone of optimal arousal, a medium zone or a high zone. In a low zone, your performance is best when you're nice and calm and you've got a low level of arousal. However, when it gets higher, you completely lose it and you're out of zone. The middle is when you don't play good if you're high or low, but when you're in the middle and you're nice and relaxed, a bit of arousal, you're at the best. And finally, C, if you have a high individual zone of arousal, optimal arousal, then you play crap, you play really bad at the beginning, and then after you hit a high arousal, you perform your best. For example, Brian Lara, when he plays cricket, when he was so relaxed, he played really well. He got 400 not out runs, which is a record. The characteristics of being in the zone. When players are in the zone and they're very confident, it seems automatic, like it's so easy and it's effortless. But however, they are still very, very focused. When you watch players and they're in the zone, the execution of the skill brings enjoyment and satisfaction to the crowd and to the players. For example, when Heaton's penalty shootout heroics against Crystal Palace clinched Cardiff's place in the final with his brilliant saves. And out of the zone. This is where the athlete is so stressed and has too much information that arouse so much that they make all ordinary skills seem so much more difficult than they should be. For example, Usain Bolt in the final of the championships. He had a sprint start and was unable to start because he had a false jump, which was not good.
Somatic